Of Kittens and Broken Things, Chapter 17. Thane's plans were disrupted by the information that Kolyat was on the Citadel. He had no reservations about telling Kara his concerns, and the way he had left Kolyat after Irikah's death. Thane had been certain it was the best thing for his son's future to leave him in the care of Irikah's relatives. Any association with his son would draw down more vengeance. Kolyat's best protection was to be abandoned. After time had passed and the immediate threats to Kolyat's life had been eliminated, Thane faced a choice as to whether or not he would remain an assassin or become a father again. The answer was dictated by the ways of the galaxy. Thane would always be an assassin in the watchful eyes of the galaxy in which he had moved for the majority of his life. Thane would always be either a potential target or a potential hire. As a father, Kolyat would be the only stable point in his life, the fulcrum upon which Thane's will could be leveraged. They would be forced into flight and fear as a best-case scenario, murdered like his mother in the darker outcomes. There would be no expiration of his identity as an assassin, just as the people he had killed would never return to life. Kolyat would always be a target. Thane instead chose the path of continued work until Kepral's or mission conditions took his life, hoping to not stain Kolyat's future as he had his past. It appeared Kolyat did not wish to be abandoned or protected. Thane could not fathom Kolyat's motivation. Kara's suggestion that it was to connect to him. Horrifying. Kolyat should be like his mother. Kolyat had spent his life with his mother, and that should dictate how he entered adulthood. Kara said, "Thane, angry or desperate, this is love. This is a boy wanting to know his father. You not being there doesn't mean you were absent in his thoughts or in his heart. Maybe it's because he had so little of you that he wants more. Dancing crazy sounds like fun." Thane had a flashing moment of seeing Irikah in front of a window in the kitchen in the morning, her skin and vibrant color washed with orange brightness as she made breakfast. Thane moved to her, his arm around her waist, and his hand taking the spoon out of her hand. She relinquished it with a laugh, turned willingly and joyously to him. Beautiful. Her laugh drew Kolyat's attention from the table where he sat, near his mother, always near his mother, wanting to dance with them. Thane had been up the entire night. An empty mug of tea set aside as light and dark merged, and he studied his target until it was light again. Irikah never complained, never scolded, waited for him and welcomed him with her smile and the depth of her sunset and sunrise eyes. Kolyat ran with the trusting enthusiasm only found in the bodies of small, loved boys, expecting his father to catch him, which he did, swinging him up on his hip, one arm around his son and one around his wife. Beauty and joy and acceptance, the shadows scattering in the light, in the spin of Irikah putting her arm around his waist and adding her momentum. Thane could see both their faces, Kolyat's bent back and eyes closed, Irikah's laughing, and even with his arm around her and hers around him, her presence was always as ephemeral as that laughter, unable to be truly grasped, only experienced. They spun until Kolyat wanted to be put down on his feet to try to walk, the dizziness overwhelming, but he wanted to be like his father, who never seemed to get dizzy. Thane stepped back a small distance from her and put Kolyat down on his unsteady feet. Irikah reached out her arms to catch him. Kolyat tried to take a step and veered, laughed, and his mother's arms caught him in the same loved trust. "Daddy, how come dancing doesn't make you crazy like me?" "It does, Kolyat." Kolyat wasn't satisfied with that answer, but Irikah was. Her smile promising all the riches of her heart, of her body. He would find her when Kolyat took his nap and promise all the riches of his own heart and body. His Ree, as beautiful in the afternoon sun as in the morning sun or starlight. Her venom on his tongue and the ephemeral light that radiated from her, as beautiful as her skin under his hands and his mouth. He came back to the present. Thane was inclined to believe Kolyat had been coerced and was being used as bait, but he did not say that. It was not relevant to locating him. Kara smiled her battle smile and reassured him. I'll take care of it. I'll change course and we'll head to the Citadel immediately. Thank you, Siha. She knew what it meant. She had beaten him once again at Panifa and earned his answer. She shivered when he said it, and her heart beat faster, and he enjoyed those moments. Kara had avoided the Citadel, but Kolyat's situation moved her to return. There was also a potential recruit named Kasumi Goto, another potential recruit recommended by Liara named Kiris Tinovid. There was Garrus. Garrus was every reason to go and to not go for Kara. Shepard had other concerns. Her hacking was much better than it had been, and she wanted to test it out, but there were other ways. Strategically, this was a divergence point where the line between Shepard and Kara, Counselor and Garrus, would blur further. She had to consider whether or not it was inherently pre-blurred, and it was only her insistence on arbitrary boundaries that made it seem clearer. She could use the opportunity to scout real territory. Shepard had not asked Counselor Vicarian for anything outside the witnessed meeting between Liara, Orbiston, and Anderson. She thought she knew the answer once she considered asking for a personal favor on Thane's behalf. It still did, technically, advance the fight against Reapers, with Thane granting his arm in what she now knew to be literal and complete. She could ask Garrus for something he could do very easily with minimal cost, or she could delay, risk Kolyat's life and his target's life because she was... what? Independent? Skittish? Deluded? Likely all that, plus stubborn. She bit her lip, pacing in her quarters, talking. He's my bondmate. He wants to be my bondmate, Top. He wants to help. If I know he would want to help, not just because I feel it, but because he has insisted, and that excluding him would make me know he was excluded, and if it were found out, he would definitely feel excluded. Yeah, I could hack in, but what if I just asked? This is his Citadel. I mean, I'm sneaky, but... What, Prow? Prow was the Turian cruiser, spoke for Garrus often. She had offered him a new paint job in his chosen colors, but he had declined. That seemed somewhat insulting, but she'd respect his wishes. Yeah, his Citadel. What I'm asking isn't illegal, though it might be if I didn't ask. Maybe not, I'm still a Spectre. What I'm asking is a Spectre prerogative, isn't it? There can't be that many Drell on the Citadel. If I access systems, I could find Kolyat, track his movements through biometrics and facial recognition. Even easier to track him through his extranet use. I could use my back door and get in myself, but... If I ask Garrus for a contact in CSEC, he's going to tell me he'll handle it himself. He'd want to. It's for me. He'd insist. I could insult him by bypassing him somewhat illegally, definitely guiltily, and doing something he'd want to do for me, or... Yeah, it's a favor. A personal favor. Is that completely unreasonable between a counselor and a Spectre? I bet Russ gets favors. Liara can just ring him up whenever. It's a friendship, so I'm a Spectre, a friend, and a bondmate, and this is... friendly Spectre bond? It's not like he's gonna demand sex for saving a young boy's life. I'm getting sidetracked on him demanding sex and how good that sounds. Give me a minute. Oh, okay. Deep breath. Even if we weren't involved, I'd ask anybody I knew that I could trust for this information. I might ask Anderson. No, scratch that. I'd definitely do it myself. Anderson doesn't know C-Sec systems. I don't know. Garrus is the most secure and the most likely. Even if I approached someone in C-Sec independently, explaining becomes problematic. There are lives at risk, Kolyat's and his targets. I'm not there, and I don't have access. Garrus is, and he does. There's really no choice. Time and discretion are the key factors. I hope this does not bite me in the justifications later. She bit the back of her thumb. Mom, what do you do when you love someone so much and you want to give them everything, but you need to take? That's what love is, Kara. You know, that isn't helpful at all. Could you maybe provide a chart? Something more if-then than if? In some poetic stall? I don't think you know either. She knows. You're biased, Dad. That's it. I'm baking. I am. I'm going to complain again that Mass Effect stoves do not produce proper browning. No Maillard reaction. Changes the texture and the flavor. I need a real oven. There's no crust on the brownies. I can bury the tarts in sugar. Well, okay, yeah, that problem solved. A blurry relationship is better than a bad one. A non-crusty brownie... Ooh, that sounds wrong. She decided to call Garrus and tell him, bask in Turian approval and love. Hi, I love you.
Hi, I love you too.
I'm coming back to the Citadel. He smiled, and she could hear a slight Turian subvocal purring which made her smile and blush as he said,
Tell me when and how long, I'll find a way. Make it soon and for a while.
I wanted to ask your advice about a favor. It's about mission, love, friendship, and family.
I'll try to be wise and enlightening.
Oh, thank you. I need that. I need you. So, Thane Krios has a problem, and I want to help. His son is on the Citadel and considering assassination as a career path. He thinks his father is dead, and I think this is him trying to connect to his father's life path. They have a complicated history, no contact for years. I want this kept as quiet as possible for Thane's safety and to protect Kolyat from becoming a target or making further desperate choices.
He's here?
That's what I need to know. Here's where the advice comes in. So, I'm your bondmate, but that doesn't grant me counsel or access privileges.
Oh, yes, it does.
Yeah, but it shouldn't.
But it does. I insist.
I would do my hacking thing, and I'm sure I will at some point, but what if I get caught? What if I'm too late? What if Kolyat finds his target before I reach the Citadel? What if I could have asked you, and 2 lives are saved, and a 3rd is granted peace? What if I deny you the opportunity to be my hero? Again? What if my bondmate has to break me out of prison and then asks a simple, "Why didn't you ask me?" And then I have no answer, and I look dumb while in prison, and he considers leaving me there for the crime of dumb?
Fortunately, counselor and spectre privileges also get you out of prison, not without a lecture.
I don't like looking dumb, Garrus.
Then you have the wrong face. You stall and you squeak. I'm not saying you are dumb, but you are so very good at looking that way.
I wish I could argue with that. Now I look dumb about being dumb.
I'll find him, I'll speak to him. Not arrest, just a chat. I'll tell him that his father is helping with the fight against Reapers and regrets that he can't be here, but will be here soon.
They're not on the best of terms.
I think I can navigate a distant parental relationship. I think all he'll be thinking is, holy crap, it's the counselor. But if you think he's going to get rowdy,
Did I just accuse you of being dumb?
you do it all the time.
I don't mean it.
Yes, you do.
You could use his biometrics, and I bet he didn't know enough to alter or disable his extranet connection. He should be listed as Koyak Krios. Here's his info.
I know, Lemia. I've been doing this for a little while. It won't be hard to find a Drell on the Citadel. There are about 4 of them here at any given time.
Just trying to help. Hey, do you know Garrus Tanovic?
She's good.
Think she'd work well with me?
She should, yes. Going to pick her up too?
Yes, in theory. Hopefully she won't be actively skinning puppies when I meet her.
Does that happen often?
Seems that way.
Does Krios skin puppies?
What? No, he killed Nasana Dantius. You know how much she had it coming. It was awesome. You should have been there. She winced with an internal oops of giant proportions. Blur, if not eliminate, the lines of duty and love. Rub in your insistence on separation, why don't you? She got so comfortable with him. Once again, do not explain the glow factor.
I should have been there.
Not angry. Not hurt. The voice of missed firsts. I'm sorry. She meant it.
No, you're not. It's okay. Stop looking like you're going to commit suicide with that spoon. It's upsetting.
I am sorry. She still meant it.
It's all right, Lemia. I just want to know that you're safe.
Safe. There was silence, both of them sorting through reassurances and responses that might harmonize with and then resolve that sour note. She told him, Thane Krios is frightening as a person. He's the most likely person to figure out that you and I are involved, but now I don't think he'd use that to hurt me. He's working for free. He doesn't seem to be a petty person. He's also the most likely person to keep me alive because he's that good. He doesn't miss anything.
What about Russ?
Russ? He's incredible. You already know about Russ.
Yeah, but he's not the most likely person to keep you alive?
Maybe that wasn't the best phrasing.
Maybe it was.
There was too much concern in his voice. Much more potential oops. He's good, Garrus. I just gave him a bad day. You know bad days.
Oh, yeah, I do. Krios didn't have a bad day?
No, I am convinced only other people get bad days around Thane.
But not you?
No, not me. He listens to me talk about stupid stuff.
It's not stupid. I miss hearing you explain Tinkerbobs.
That's not a real thing.
But you're going to look it up as soon as I hang up, just to make sure.
You're mean. And that's sweet, but you kind of have to listen because you're my bondmate. He talks to me. He listens. It's like I have a friend. I'd help him anyway, but yes, I'm safe. And no, he didn't have any bad days. He's kind. He's polite. He's terrifying, but I need that.
I'm impressed. Everyone gets at least one bad day.
Yours wasn't so bad.
I don't want to talk about it.
The look on your face.
I don't want to talk about it.
All right.
I should be there for your days, Lemia. All of them, good and bad.
I agree. I just can't arrange that without a terminally tragic helping of extra death, betrayal, and failure. So think about it this way. I'm not afraid of Thane. Not now. He is dying from Capral's syndrome. He's dedicated his life to this mission at my order, and that's an absolute bond, it seems. He identifies himself as my weapon. I don't want him to give his life, potentially, on this mission, missing the opportunity to save his son from meaningless death. That's hopefully what I do. Less death, more trust and success.
That's hopefully what we do. I'm sorry to hear he's ill. Whatever I can do to help.
Thank you. Holy crap, it's the counselor.
Is that my new name?
I'm trying it out.
Think you could say that after I kiss you hello?
Think I'll be able to?
Not when I'm done.
I miss you so much.
I will see you soon, Limiyeth, and I will miss you until then. Garrus had found Kolyat at a rented hotel room within 2 hours. He hadn't altered his extranet identifiers at all. Garrus went to the hotel room and knocked on the door, a startled and sleepy Drell on the other side. My name is Garrus Vakarian. May I have a moment of your time? Kolyat Krios stared. Garrus was used to that. He gave him a moment and almost smiled at, holy crap, it's the counselor face. Kolyat stuttered and ushered him inside.
Counselor Vakarian,
If Garrus was going to do this, he was going all the way. Please, call me Garrus.
I couldn't.
Yes, you could. You don't know it, but I owe your father a debt.
My father?
Yes, I'm here on his behalf. He's alive. He wants you to know that. He wants you to meet, and he is on his way to the Citadel. Kolyat's mouth twisted, seemingly caught between anger at his father and the fact that a counselor was in his hotel room. Garrus continued. He's been helping with the fight against Reapers. The Council has kept him very busy, and he has not contacted you because, well, frankly, it was a condition of his employment. He did not wish to put you at risk. Kolyat stared. Garrus said with an air of intentional mystery, hoping the kid would feel watched every day of his life because he clearly needed to feel that way. It came to our attention that you are considering a career change. Kolyat stopped staring and started looking terribly nervous. Garrus held up a hand. I am not here to arrest you. I'm here to ask you, as a courtesy, to reconsider your career path and agree to meet with your father. I apologize officially on behalf of the Council that he has been absent from your life. Your father has more than earned a preemptive pardon for his son and also any support you require. We can provide you with a stipend as your father has more than earned that as well. You should be proud of him. I can't tell you how or why. He thought. No, really, I can't. I have no idea. I just have to take her word for it. Kolyat stood, stunned, and Garrus waited with stern on his face until Kolyat said,
Okay. Thank you, Counselor Vakarian.
Garrus.
Garrus.
The kid looked like he was about to faint. Mission Terrify a Teenager was complete, and Garrus left solemnly and then tried not to laugh and failed on the way back to the tower. CSEC would arrange for identity change, stipend, and lodging on the Council's authorization. Listed technically as confidential informant, Kolyat Krios would not have to do a damn thing except get used to his new circumstances and be under surveillance until his father arrived. Garrus contacted Kara. Okay, it's done. Found Kolyat. He was very impressed that his father has been working for the Council for years and is a hero. I got him an apartment, an identity change, and a stipend for his father's service.
Have I mentioned that I love you so very much?
Say it again.
I love you so very much.
See how good things are when I help?
I do. I really do. Thane woke to a notification of someone at the door of his quarters, rose, and dressed quickly. answered the door to Kara. Koyat is safe. I asked Counselor Vicarian to find him, contact him, dissuade him from his intended new career. He has agreed to an identity change. He's listed as a confidential informant in CSEC roles, which means he has a stipend and an apartment. Nobody other than Garrus knows why. Koyat hadn't done anything actionable yet. Don't be surprised that Koyat is under the impression that you have been working for the Council against Reapers for many years, and that you insisted on not contacting Koyat to protect him, and that Counselor Vicarian is indebted to you personally for your service. Garrus gave Koyat his direct contact information in case he needs anything, and Garrus will look after him. Koyat's under surveillance until you get there, just to make sure he does not panic or run or do any of the things teenagers do when something weird just happened. You can see him when we put in. I'm sorry for interrupting your sleep, but just in case you were worried, I wanted to make sure you could rest easier. Thane listened, stunned. It had taken 4 hours to save his son's life and possibly save Thane's opportunity to be a father again in any capacity. Power. Siha. He swallowed once, hard, looked into smiling green, and wanted to pull her into his arms in an exhale of a long-held breath, to tangle his fingers in her hair, to hold her for long, reverent moments before sweeping her off her feet and showing her with his body the meaning of devotion. His arms tensed, and he nearly began that desired path in that moment. But something about the way the word Garrus played on her lips and in her eyes, the fact that Thane now owed Garrus Vicarian a debt that could never be repaid, and that this moment was not his, restrained him. The gratitude was his, but not the triumph. That triumph danced in green, conspiratorial success, and conspiratorial with another man. The tension in his arms turned to pain, and he said simply, "Thank you, Siha." Her smile was casual, pleased, and she showed no sign of detecting any tension or expression that might have escaped from his spirit into his face. "You're welcome. Good night."